I'm going after some fish here in this nice little stream in northern Connecticut called Salmon Brook. It's in Granby. Flows on down and joins the Farmington River. We're going to see what happens. But one thing you got to remember when you're approaching a small stream like this one is where to do it. And if you're looking at the stream first, take your time and check out the banks. Enter on the shallow side rather than the deep side. Think about where you're going to get some casts. This is going to have a lot of overhanging branches. I'm going to have to be careful I don't end up in those branches with my Euro nymph or my dry fly. So this time of the year, it's kind of nice to know your plants. That right there is poison ivy as it is coming out. You'll notice little reddish leaves. Those are going to open up and be nice big green, easily identified poison ivy leaves in another couple weeks. But right now it is insidious. It's all over the place by roads and rivers, and usually where there's a lot of sun. And know your poison ivy, spring, summer, winter, fall, and don't tell me you can't get it, because everybody says that. So you see I made the right decision. The brook is definitely deeper as it goes under the bridge on the, well, it would be the east side of the brook. And up the brook a skosh, you can see that there's a beautiful cut bank up there. And so I'm going to make my way up there and throw a few casts, see what I can make happen. So I'm Euro nymphing my way down to start. Looking to see if there's any action. And like I say, I like to start in tight. You never know if there's something in the water. We got about 2 feet of water right here. And really let that nymph dance. Let that nymph get in the current and let that nymph dance. Oh, missed one. Oh, we got one under that cut bank. Oh, and he's out of the water. Oh, little rainbow. Oh, yeah. He hit that hard. Not a big guy, but we'll take him. Oh, he hit that and took off like a freight train. I didn't have the camera on. I should have. Nice. Okay, but uh-oh. Get over here. Get away from there. Get away from there. All right, we're going to right over here. I got the net. Get over here, boy. Ah, he goes up there. Come back. Use the pole. Lift the pole. Bring him in. There he is. Okay. Nice little guy. Got the hooks out of him. Wet the hands. Always wet the hands when you catch a fish. And look at that fine rainbow trout in this little stream. Now, he's a stocky. You know he is. But you know what? That was fun. Little Euro nymph action. Just floated it along the cut bank like I was doing before I got up in the tree. And making it happen. So here's what I did. Just tossing it over there. Bring it along. And he came darting out and got it. He hit the bottom nymph. He hit the pink. And we always talk about the pink, and we're using these pink squirrel tails by Big Y Fly. They're really becoming like our go-to nymph. Get it in there and try to get it up high in the pool so the current gets it down. Those rainbows sit right in the white water in a place you'd never think they would be. They're kind of crazy like that. They get right in there. Now, this is early spring. As you see, the leaves are just coming out. It's like May 7th. So there's no real need for them to be in there right now, as there will be in another few weeks when the stream temperature gets warm. And quite often they will be. So I'm peppering it. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to move down toward the bridge, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of fish there, and I'm going to try to catch them. But before I do, I think I'm going to toss a couple more at this cut bank that I just fished. See if anybody that got spooked by that fight that the fish gave me has calmed down again. And you fish the Euro style in a little stream like this the same way you do in a larger stream. You just don't have it to do as much French nymphing. You're doing more Czech nymphing. And remember the quarters of the cast. That's something I tell people. Quarters of the cast. Cast it up. First quarter. Second quarter. Keep contact with the nymph. When it's even with me, it's going into the third quarter. 45 degrees down. It enters the fourth quarter. And now the nymph comes up off the bottom, and sometimes you'll get them right in here. I'm sure there's another fish under that cut bank. So I'm sneaking down very cautiously and very carefully. I've got a pool that's got an eddy. So what I'm going to do is chuck it over here. Feed it a little line. Let it get down. And we'll slowly guide it. There's a whirlpool there. Got to be like 5 feet deep there. I could come swimming here in the summer. Coming right along the wall. We got a hatch too. Maybe I should throw the dry fly. There we go. There we go. Oh, rainbow. I saw that. I saw my indicator get a little weird. Oh, there's another one with him. There's multiple fish in here. There's another one over there that got fired up because this guy was on the line. And he hit the top fly. Interesting. You can see I got a copper john up top. And here he is. Oh. Well, we get to see him. He jumped back in the net. Oh. Nice little rainbow. Back in the water. Get out of the sand, boy. So these cows, I'm thinking they're looking at me because it's dinner time. Oh yeah, look at the little guy right there. Beautiful. Oh, you guys are beauties. Now I'm gonna beautiful flow right here. It reminds me of the Mill River up in Leeds. It's a little smaller. They're definitely putting fish in. 10 minutes away from my house. That's a nice thing. The Salmon River. And right down the road here, there's the Mattabesic Indians. Mattabesic tribe. Probably part of the Tunxus, or even the Mohican, or maybe the Agawam. It's hard to say. They had a village on a small pond a mile from here. And I'm sure they did their fair share of fishing on this river, which enters the Farmington, and in those days would have supported a herring run and a shad run. Maybe some salmon. It's called Salmon Brook, so a lot of times place names matter. So were there salmon in this? I'm not going to say there weren't. Nice water washed rock. So I'm going to scamper across here. Probably a wicked stupid move. Probably spooking a lot of fish. But I got to get over. And then this is as good of a spot as any. I just fished it, didn't get a hit. It's good water, but I see some good water down below. Now, as I've said before, I love looking for arrowheads. And look at this pebble spill here, this pebble wash. It's a good place to look for them, especially in the springtime. And you develop a search image, you know what you're looking for. Gravel from the road. Every once in a while, one will jump right out at you. I think that's one of those fancy internal combustion engines. Rivers. People just throw stuff in them. They have from the beginning of time. Seems like an odd thing when you consider that you're drinking the water out of the river. And then when you consider that there are people upstream that are probably also throwing things into the river. People are crazy. So if you've been following Fishing Historic Places for the last year, you get what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to combine a little bit of history and a little bit of fishing and a little bit of fun all over the Northeast. But what I've been doing lately to try to get more subscribers, because, if the channel doesn't grow, I mean, what's the point? I don't know, I kind of getting into it. It's really not that hard to fish with a camera anymore. I used to think it was quite difficult. But what I've been trying to do lately is do a lot of shorts. And I found that since I started doing my shorts back in maybe mid-December, I've picked up almost 400 subscribers. So bear with the shorts. You might not like them. You might want the full content that I try to put out twice a month. And I mean, I'm filming all the time. I probably fish 3 or 4 times a week with my friends and sometimes alone like today. And I'm filming all the time. So that builds me a library of video that I can edit when it's raining, in those periods when fishing gets tough and salt water's over. So basically November, December, January, and February, and I can keep putting out content. In the meantime, I can do the shorts that I've been trying to do all over the place. Some be carefuls, some little bits of history, some natural history moments, some gear talks. I can do these shorts and keep my presence up on the internet. There's all this algorithm stuff, and I don't know how it works, but I know that the more I post, the more subscribers I pick up. And I've been hearing from different subscribers who have talked about, geez, I didn't know Massachusetts had so much cool stuff. I haven't even started with Massachusetts. I mean, I'm out in Western Mass banging around. I haven't really gotten into the big stuff in Massachusetts yet. We got some plans to do some trips out east, do Lexington and Concord and King Philip's War battle sites. So there's some good stuff coming this year, in addition to all of our saltwater action and then our treks and trips up to the big lakes in New York and maybe the Thousand Islands. Who knows? I haven't figured it out yet. The Corona's over, though, and people are motivated. Beetroot and Price and I just got back from a great trip up to Lake George. So things have been going well for us. This is Cooley Cemetery in Granby, Connecticut. And this is an old family plot. Now, in this part of Massachusetts, right, on the border, well, Connecticut, on the border of Massachusetts and Connecticut, there's two families that made a name for themselves, the Noble family and the Cooley family. And they're obviously English descent. They've been here probably since the land was taken away by treaty from the Amerindian peoples, the Mattabesics and the Congamans and the Tunxis and all those other well-intended native people who made treaties without understanding what they meant. But the Cooley family, along with the Noble family, are known for their Noble and Cooley drum factory in Granville. That's a factory that began making drums before the American Civil War and then turned over and started making toy drums and continued making toy drums until NAFTA came along in the mid-90s and basically destroyed the business. They went from having like 150 employees to having a family business of 3. But they still make drums, toy drums, and they have a great drum museum there. So you can go check that out if you're ever in Granville. There's really not much else to see in Granville besides the country store and some great woods. But here at the Cooley Cemetery, I'm sure we're looking at the family that brought us Noble and Cooley Drum Factory, a collaboration between the Cooleys of Granby and between the Nobles of Granville. Granville and Granby. And I'll tell you, one of these days I'll get one of my buddies like Dennis Picard to do a little bit with us on cemetery art. I mean, I've got a little bit stored up and could do that. This fellow died in 1876, April, before the closest presidential election in history. Too bad he missed it. But if you're not from our area, you might notice how rural it is out here. And if you look at those population density maps that you see in school as a kid, and you see the Northeast, and it looks like it's wall-to-wall people up here, well, I'm going to tell you something. Even as you get out close to Boston, within 15 miles of Boston, out in Concord, Massachusetts, and Lincoln Sudbury, out in that area, you got these big areas of farm fields still. And out here in Western Mass, much of this farm field was dedicated to tobacco, although, of course, there was also a lot of merino sheep and various other items tried, because the life of a farmer is really the life of a small businessman. You go where the market takes you. People always forget that. And as you can see, farmer across the street's doing okay because he's putting up a new barn. Gotta like that. New barn construction means the farm's not going anywhere. And with all of those Mick mansions, which we see flopping in everywhere, it's nice to think somebody's building a barn. Look at that beautiful example of a water-washed rock.